Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let's keep going, baby. We about to get into a scheme that Nate set up to come to Monica with the booze. All right. So Nate spent a week devising his plan. He was now standing in front of the mirror preparing for bed much later than usual. And over the last few days, he had been coming in later as well. But he told Monica that they had taken on a new client, so she expected it. Part of Nate's plan was to be kind of distant with Monica. He was practically treating her like a stranger. He was no longer kissing her when he walked in the door, kissing her on the neck. He even avoided being in close quarters with her. He could tell that Monica felt as though there was something wrong, but she seemed reluctant to ask him about it, because he did agree to think about the adoption, so she didn't want to cause no problems. She asked Nate if he was coming to bed soon, but Nate didn't respond. It was rude and made him feel bad, but he convinced himself that it was for the greater good. Nate closed the medicine cabinet and caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror, and he couldn't even stand to look at himself because he didn't want to question why was he doing what he was doing. And at this time, he couldn't worry about who got hurt or what was right or wrong. What had to be just had to be. Nate then went and stood in front of the toilet. He didn't have to use it. He was just checking to see if he can go hard and go long. He tugged on it, thought about every woman that ever turned him on, and nothing happened. Good, he said. He then washed his hands and went into the bedroom. Monica threw back the blankets and Nate got in bed. Monica asked him if he was okay, and he said that he was fine. Then he laid on top of his wife and started kissing on her. She asked him what was he doing, and he said that he wanted to be intimate with his wife. But we've tried every night this week and nothing has happened. Listen, let's just give it some time and let it happen naturally. She let him know that he hadn't been himself lately, but if you want to try it, we can. Nate laid his head in the crook of his wife's neck and started kissing her and doing all the things that he knew that would turn her on. She reached down to feel for him, but there was nothing to feel for. Nate looked at her and apologized. She asked him why was he sorry, and she told him that he just needed the proper motivation. So she sat on top of him and slowly started massaging it and then quickened her motions, but nothing was happening, and Nate knew nothing was going to happen. Monica continued, then he finally grabbed her hands and told her that she should stop because it wasn't working. He pulled her off of him and just rolled over on his side. He knew it was an evil thing to do, making her feel like his inability to stand at attention was her fault. Or maybe it was because he was no longer attracted to her. But this was all a part of Nate's plan. Just like any other Asian man, Nate knew there was something they could take to get hard, but he wondered if there was something he could take that would keep him from getting there. So he reached out to his doctor friend who told him yes and no. There was something on the market for something else, but one of the side effects would affect a man getting stiff. Nate's friend was hesitant to write the prescription, but Nate had to tell him that if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't even be a doctor if he didn't help him with chemistry and help him pass those two exams. His friend looked at him skeptically and wrote out the prescription and told him, listen, if you can't get it up again, just remember you asked for it. Nate stopped by the pharmacy next to the doctor's office, had the prescription filled, grabbed a drink, and took a handful. 2 days later, he got what he wanted. He was impotent. And every night since, he had tried and failed when it came to getting intimate with his wife. And he knew that it would cause psychological trauma to Monica, but he had to do what he had to do. The next day after work, Nate left early because there was some business he needed to take care of. Nate called Lewis and told him that he was on his way to pick him up. Nate pulled up to the Red Roof Inn and Lewis was standing outside the door. He got in the car and Nate asked him how was he doing. Lewis said that everything was fine, but Nate didn't like how Lewis was looking. He looked like he didn't get much sleep. So, are you okay with what we've been talking about? Lewis said, yes, Mr. Kenny, I'm all right with it. It didn't seem that way to Nate, and he knew he dropped a lot on Lewis the other day when he picked him up to tell him how he could help him out. He took Lewis to a bar so they could talk. He told Lewis that he'd done a background check on him, and Lewis was shocked. Nate said, I'm glad to see that you haven't been to prison, committed any crimes, and you're not a violent person. Well, besides running into the back of my car. Listen, I've been thinking hard over the past couple of days, and I found a way for you to pay me back. Lewis looked worried, and Nate told him he wasn't about to ask him to put an end to anybody, but he had a job for him that entailed getting to know someone, a woman. Wait, that's all? You just want me to get to know a woman? Yeah, but I want you to really get to know her to the point that y'all start having meetings in the bedroom. Lewis wanted to know who was the woman, and Nate wanted to keep that information to himself, but he knew that he would eventually have to tell Lewis. So he said, my wife, and then he downed his jack real fast. Lewis couldn't believe what he was hearing, and Nate could tell by the expression on his face, so he asked him if he had a problem with that. Lewis said that he didn't think that was a good idea. I didn't ask for your opinion. You wrecked my car. You begged me not to call the police and asked me if we could work something out. And that's what I'm doing. Either you accept it or you know the consequences. But why do you want me to do this? Because I'm seeking a divorce, and this is how it can happen quickly. So you want me to get to know your wife and sleep with her. You're going to at least have to tell me why. I want to have children, and she can't have any. So do we have a deal? I don't think I can do this, Mr. Kenny. I'm sorry. I'll pay you, Nate said desperately. Lewis saw that Nate was serious and asked him, how much will you pay me? How much are you requiring? Lewis looked at Nate over and over, and he started to calculate how much he thought Nate was worth, from the way he dressed, to the Bentley he was in, to the Mercedes he pulled up in today. So Lewis said, $10K a week. And he said it just to see what Nate would say. Nate said, I can't do that, but I'll do half. Lewis' mouth dropped open. He couldn't believe it. What do you say, Lewis? Can you do it now? The words could barely come out of Lewis's mouth, but he said, yes, Mr. Kenny, I think I could do it now. So now Nate was looking Lewis over as they rode in the car, and he was wondering if he was having second thoughts. And with all the work Nate had put in over the last couple of days, that would be a huge mistake for Lewis to back out now. But Nate was confident that if there was any hesitation in Lewis's mind, all of that would change once he showed him what he had for him. They pulled up in front of this beautiful brick brownstone on a quaint tree-lined street just west of downtown. Lewis and Nate started walking up to the house, and Nate told him that even though his wife didn't come for money, he doubted that she would be interested in someone who wasn't as ridiculously paid as he was. The townhome was beautiful. From the 24-foot ceilings, the loft, the hardwood floors, it was brand new. It still smelled like paint. As they walked into the dining room, Nate told Lewis that would be his home. All the utilities were on, as well as the cable. The furniture would be delivered later. Nate told Lewis to follow him because there was something else. They went down to the garage, and when it opened, it revealed a brand new black Cadillac Escalade. Nate told Lewis that he wasn't a fan of the truck, but he knew that's what guys his age liked. It's on loan to me from a dealership that I do a lot of business with, but if you do what you're supposed to do, then it's yours. Nate pulled the keys from the ignition and threw them to Lewis, and he asked Lewis how did he feel so far. Lewis said that he really didn't know how to feel. The way Nate saw it, in a matter of a week, Lewis went from being homeless, penniless, and potentially facing a lawsuit for running into the back of him, to making $5K a week, living in an upscale neighborhood, to driving a new car. He should have felt overjoyed. They walked into the kitchen, and there was a shoebox on the counter filled with things to create the new Lewis. Nate told Lewis, you are now a real estate developer. These are your business cards. Your investments are worth a couple of million. This is your bank book. And this is information on your account that I started for you. There's a gold card linked to it along with a check card. Use this when you're out with my wife. Paying cash for everything is how these thugs make their money unlawfully. We don't want her thinking that's how you make your money. This is your cell phone. Your new business number will ring to my office where someone claiming to be your secretary will answer the phone. And if it's during business hours, the call will be directed to this phone and you will answer it saying Waters Real Estate. Do not say, "What's up? This Lewis, who this?" No. Say Waters Real Estate. Do you understand? Lewis's mind was all over the place, but he said yes. Another thing, here's a pager just in case I need to contact you. And finally, here are 4 pictures of my wife. Nate gave Lewis 2 close-up photos and 2 of Monica in a very skimpy bikini from when they were in Brazil. Wow, she's beautiful. What's her name? Monica. And yeah, those last 2 pictures are there for added motivation. But after Nate saw how Lewis was staring at those pictures, he snatched them away from Lewis and told him that he would have time to better acquaint himself with those pictures. Okay, later. Nate told Lewis that he had deposited another $5,000 in his bank account and it was for clothes. He wanted Lewis to go to the store where his wife was the manager and buy some suits from there. And that will be how he meet her. She works days from 9 to 5. Buy something suitable to wear on your first day. But from that point on, I want you to buy everything from my wife. But not all at once. Buy them over time. That will give you more opportunities to get to know her. Do you understand? Yes, I think so, Mr. Kenny. And when do you want me to go? Tomorrow. Tomorrow? But I haven't had time to get myself together or practice or anything. Listen, you don't need to do anything. For the past week, I have treated my wife like a stranger. She's used to me being all passionate and affectionate, so she's probably starving for attention from a man. All you have to do is go in there and be the player that I know you can be. And stop overthinking it. Forget that she's my wife. Forget about me. What would you do if you saw a fine, beautiful woman on the street? I'd talk to her. Exactly. This is the same thing. And she's there every day, so you don't have to rush it. Just take your time. You want to grow on her. So for tonight and tomorrow, just get used to living like this. Act like this is your life. Go spend some money, buy some clothes, and get a haircut. A successful businessman would not walk around with that bird's nest on top of his head. You got it? We good? Yes, I got it. Okay, good. Everything is set. Now we do what needs to be done and we just wait to see what happens. So over at the store, Tabitha and Monica was finishing up for the day and Tabitha asked Monica if she had any plans after work. Monica said no, so Tabitha told her that she was going to go to the bar with her because Monica had been acting funky all day. I don't know what's up with you, but you can tell me when we get there. They arrived a little bit before happy hour, so they were able to get a good seat at the bar. Tabitha ordered their drinks and told Monica to tell her what was going on, like what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. My husband is not like my husband anymore. Over the past week, he's been coming in late. He shows me no sign of affection, and we haven't been intimate in weeks. Really? Why is that? Because he can't. He says he's stressed from his new client, but do you want to know what I think? What? He cheating, girl. He is not cheating. And how could he be sleeping with someone else when he can't even get it up for me? Maybe he can't get it up with you because he's having it with someone else. Well, I don't have any proof, so I can't just all of a sudden have distrust for my husband. So he's not cheating. All right? Okay. Dang. There was an awkward silence between them. Then Monica finally said, "It's getting pretty tight in here." "Yeah," Tabitha said as she looked around the room. And not think that guy is about to head over here and talk to you." Monica turned and the guy was looking right at her. Oh, hell. The guy walked over and asked them how were they doing, mostly directing his question to Monica. Monica said fine, but she never looked his way. So the guy told Monica that she was looking really nice and that he loved her hair. She thanked him, but she still didn't look at him. So the guy looked over to Tabitha to figure out what was up with her girl. Tabitha shrugged and kept looking at the TV. Then finally the guy said, "If I'm bothering you, I can leave. I didn't mean to interrupt you all." Monica apologized and told him that it wasn't him. She just had a lot on her mind. The man smiled with his deep dimples showing. He told her that he understood, told her his name while shaking her hand, and then he walked back across the room. Tabitha said the guy was beautiful and said that she wondered what would Nate do if he found out that Monica was cheating. "I wouldn't cheat on Nate. I know, girl. You will want to get caught and forfeit all that money." "Well, if I were to cheat, Tabitha, I wouldn't get caught. And it's not about the money. I just wouldn't cheat on my husband." Tabitha was like, "But if you were, that one would be the one to cheat with." Monica gave Tabitha an evil look, and Tabitha was like, "All right, girl, I know you want to cheat, but just for fun." That man was fine, right? Monica smiled and said, "Yeah, it was fine." And they gave each other a high five. But then Monica became very melancholy and said that she would never cheat, but she understood why some women do. With one compliment, she felt closer to a stranger than she did to her own husband. So Nate is over at Tori's with his feet kicked up watching TV because they had just finished eating dinner. Tori comes and sits beside him, but she has a worried look on her face. She told him that she was worried that his wife might start to get suspicious since he has been coming over there after work for the past week, and she had really been enjoying their time together. Nate said that Monica would not get suspicious because he told her that they took on a new client who required him to stay at work late the next couple of weeks. So why 2 weeks? Is it because you're still unsure if you really want to get a divorce? If I were unsure, I wouldn't be here. Or we wouldn't have done what we did last week. Tori said, and speaking of last week, why we haven't done it again? Nate said that he can't. Then he asked her, and speaking of last week, what became of that? Tori said that she took a test, but she wasn't pregnant. Nate was relieved, but a little disappointed at the same time. So Tori went back to his question about last week. And she wanted to know again, why hadn't they been intimate since? And Nate said that it was a part of his plan. Now, I don't know why Nate felt the need to tell Tori about his plan, but he did. He told her everything. He told her that if he just divorced his wife, she would be entitled to half of his fortune. He told her about the pills he was taking to be impotent and about Lewis. And Tori was like, "Wow, but is it all worth it? Maybe you should just tell her you don't want to be married to her anymore. Maybe she won't even want your money." Nate looked at Tori like, "Be for real." And he asked her, "If it were you and I told you that I wanted a divorce because you couldn't have children, you won't want any of my money that your attorney told you that you're entitled to?" I mean, since you put it like that. But hey, what happens after she cheats? I mean, if she cheats. I'll hire a PI, document it all, and then file. But do you think it'll work? I sure hope so. When Nate left Tori's apartment, he realized how dependent Tori was on him. And he thought back to a conversation they had the night before where Tori confessed that she had been seeing someone for about 2 years. He thought there was more to us and he wanted to get married. I knew I really didn't love him, but at the same time, I didn't want to be alone. So I made him wait. Nate wanted to know how long did she make the other guy wait. And Tori said, "Until last week when you came to me. And the very next day, I ended it with him." Nate was surprised and asked Tori if she was sure it was over. Tori explained that her mother left her when she was a child and her father had passed away and she was raised by her grandparents. And after that, she had abandonment issues. And after he left, when Nate left her the first time, she told herself that she would never trust another man again. But if you tell me that I can, then I will. And Nate reassured her that she could trust him. So Nate makes it home and he sees Monica sitting on the sofa watching TV. As he walked into the living room, Monica gets up and she has on this two-piece lace set with a matching robe. And she walked towards him and he could see every special part of her. And he also noticed that she had on red stilettos. She extended her arms and asked him if he was going to give her a hug. He did, and she told him that she missed him, and he said that he missed her too, but not with the same amount of passion that Monica had. Monica guided him over to the sofa and sat him down. Nate noticed that she also had her hair done, and she must have stopped by the makeup counter in the mall. She told Nate that she was watching a really good movie while she started taking off his shoes. She asked him if he was comfortable. He said he was, but he was trying to figure out what was Monica doing. She then asked him if he was hungry or thirsty. He said no. And she was like, "You have to want something. Let me get you something." And to please her, he said a glass of water would be nice. So Monica took the long way around the sofa so that Nate could get a good look at her. She brought the water back and Nate took a sip just to oblige her. And they just sat there awkwardly watching the movie. Then Monica was over it. And she stood up and said, "So you're not going to compliment me? I did all of this for you, for us. I bought this new night set, got my hair done and my makeup done, and you can't even acknowledge me? You act like you don't even care." "I care. I noticed you the moment I walked in the door." "Then why didn't you say something? Would it have been that hard for you to say something nice to your wife? Are you even attracted to me anymore?" "Of course I am." "Well, prove it." Monica started removing her lace set and just stood there in her full glory and told Nate to prove to her that he still loved her, to D her down right then and there. Nate said, "Monica, calm down. You've been drinking." "I know I've been drinking, and that's another reason why I'm feeling like Adina Howard right now. But the other reason is because you haven't D'd me down in about a week. Now come over here and take what's yours and prove that you are still attracted to me." "Look, Monica, I can't. I told you that I have a lot on my mind. The baby stuff, the adoption. Listen, forget all of that. Right now, I don't care about none of it. All I'm thinking about is you and me. You going so deep that I feel like we won. I need to know that I still do it for you. Now come over here and prove it." Nate stood up and screamed, "I can't." Then there was silence between them, and Monica asked him if he was gay. Nate wanted to bust out laughing, but he was thinking if his reason for doing what he was doing wasn't so serious, he would have. But he just said no. Then Monica said, "Then what is it, Nate? Make me understand so that I can know what to expect when it comes to us." Nate grabbed his glass of water, took a sip, looked at her and said, "It's stress." Then he sat his glass down, turned to head upstairs, and told her, "Don't forget to turn the TV off before you come up." Baby, what? Oh my gosh. How would y'all feel? How would you feel if you did all of that and your person responded the way Nate did? That's crazy to me. I don't know. Get down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to y'all later.